Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire. Next time. I'm not sure if I'm on YouTube or not. I'm trying to catch myself on the monitor. I was able to pick it up on YouTube. I hope I'm up. If not, I'll put it up later. But I have a story about Ebola tonight. Not a story, but some facts about Ebola. If you remember, at one time Ebola was ravaging Africa. It was a disease where people just bleed from the inside out. And it was said at the time they thought it only affected melanated people. But what they meant was black people. And many suspected it suspected that it was a biological weapon, which I had always suspected myself, but now I found a few facts and some videos to back it up. But the videos I'm playing, I actually check those facts, and the facts check out. When I put these videos up, even though they may be from TikTok, I check them out first, and they back up the facts that I found out. I want to play you this video first.
2014, West Africa. Ebola is killing 10,000 people a week. Entire villages being wiped out. Doctors collapsing in their own hospitals. Experimental drugs exist in America that might work. The WHO begs wealthy nations, send them. People are dying. America releases their stockpile. Britain airlifts supplies. Canada ships what they have. Then the shipments hit Guinea's ports. France, Guinea's former colonial master who still controls the ports, blocks them. These drugs aren't EU approved. The paperwork isn't complete. Guinean doctors are screaming, "We're dying. Send anything." France. The regulatory process must be followed. People are bleeding out in hospitals while France reviews documents. Then Fidel Castro picks up the phone. He's 88 years old, leading a poor communist island that America has strangled with sanctions for 50 years. He does what the richest nations in Europe won't. Send our doctors, all who volunteer. 256 Cubans raise their hands. They know the odds. Ebola kills 50% of those infected. They go anyway. They arrive in the worst-hit villages, places France won't send supplies to. No fancy equipment, basic protective gear. When gloves run out, some work with bare hands. They sleep in tents. They hold dying patients no one else will touch. Some Cuban doctors get infected. Some don't come home. Meanwhile, France keeps blocking medicine at the ports, citing regulations. Cuba keeps sending people. By early 2015, the outbreak slows. Not because of France's protocols, because of Cuba's courage. 11,000 dead. But thousands more alive because 256 Cubans didn't wait for permission. The WHO holds a ceremony in Geneva. Cuba receives a standing ovation. France receives a formal rebuke. Bureaucracy over human lives. Today, across Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, there are clinics named after Cuban doctors who died there. Volunteers from a poor island who came when rich Europe wouldn't. France never apologized. They followed protocols. The blockade that killed while checking paperwork. The island that sent heroes instead of forms. The doctors who didn't wait for approval to save lives.
If you notice, these you notice how Caucasian nations can do all type of evil things to harm and hurt people, yet they're not invaded. They're just allowed to get away with it. Poland is talking about building nuclear with their own nuclear weapons. Do you hear the United States and anyone else talking about taking their uranium and invading their country? Because most of this NATO and all of it, I'm gonna get back to my subject. Is to ensure Caucasian dominance of the earth. That's what it's all for. That's why it's if you attack one, you attack all. But see, that was just in Guinea, 11,000 dead. Throughout Africa, there was around 11,000 dying every day. And it was by design. I'm going to show you this next video. This is one I meant to show first, but I didn't. Watch this.
Did you know Ebola literally dissolves your organs while you're still alive and conscious? The virus attacks blood vessel walls, causing massive internal bleeding throughout your entire body. Victims start vomiting black blood and bleeding from every opening. It begins with fever and headaches within 2 to 10 days of infection.
Did you know that in 2019, a
There you
CDC
go.
researcher
That's it.
accidentally punctured their containment suit while handling live Ebola virus at Fort Detrick? The breach happened inside USAMRIID, America's most classified bioweapons facility. What made it terrifying was that the researcher had already left the secure lab before anyone realized what happened. Officials immediately launched a secret cover-up operation, tracking every person the researcher had contacted over the past 24 hours. Family members, co-workers, even strangers at gas stations were quietly monitored. The 21-day quarantine period began, with government agents.
The reason I stopped that one because it said what I wanted you to hear. You notice what they said at a bioweapons lab. Weapons lab. A bioweapons lab. Which lets you know it was a biochemical warfare agent meant to unalive melanated people, let's face it, black people. And see, friends, I wish Hitler had wiped them out. Because what Hitler was doing to them, they were doing it in Africa and other parts of the world. No one came to the other people's aid. Britain, Europe, I hope somebody will wipe all of them out. Because they have caused great harm to black people. I'm not concerned about people of color. I'm talking about black people. They've done great harm to black people. People of color got to deal with their own issues. We're not in that rainbow coalition here. But look, they did this on purpose. Because there was a doctor from the United States, a white man. It was only meant for black people to catch this. Remember when the white guy from the United States called, they brought him back here and all those bio suits and tanks and all. And you know, they say, oh, well, we think we got a cure. Cat was out the bag, then white people can catch the disease. So what they did was they took the cure and had to let everyone have it. And you notice, you don't hear anything else about Ebola because they found out that that binary weapon isn't working. They found out that it's not working. It's killing more than just black people. It's killing white people also. And you saw what it said. That it escaped from a U.S. biochemical warfare, bioweapons lab. Let me rephrase it. It says bioweapons lab. Listen
Did
to
you know
it
that in
again.
2019, a CDC researcher accidentally punctured their containment suit while handling live Ebola virus at Fort Detrick? The breach happened inside USAMRIID, America's most classified bioweapons facility. What made it terrifying was that the researcher had already left the secure lab before anyone realized what happened. Officials immediately launched a secret cover-up operation, tracking every person the researcher had contacted over the past 24 hours.
You hear that? bioweapons facility. Weapons, he said weapons, not a hospital or research center. He said bioweapons facility. And you know what? I looked this up. There were people there to research Ebola before there was even an outbreak. There was nothing called Ebola. The United States and Europeans had researchers already on the ground. Excuse me. Now, how'd you go have researchers for a disease that doesn't even exist yet? Doesn't even exist yet, but you have researchers there. See, these pharmaceutical companies and this is biolab here, bioweapons lab. But look, and I checked it out. And I may play a video, maybe a video that was made. Before I put these videos up, I checked them out to make sure they're factual. I always do that. You see, and then they have researchers on the ground, they're working on Ebola before there was an Ebola. Why? Because they created it. They're still looking for bioweapons that will kill only black people because they want a Caucasian world. And how they think they're going to manage that, I don't know because they're too lazy to really do any work. Black and brown people do all the work. They're not really concerned about brown people. You notice they didn't do the research in India. They didn't do it in Vietnam, China, or any Asian nation. They didn't do it in Australia or Europe. They did the research in Africa because they wanted to kill African black people, exterminate us from the earth. And you still trusting them? Most black people like white people better than they like black people. Treat them better. You still trusting them after all we've been through? It don't make sense. I know most black people don't like each other, but that's an ideology that's been put in us. We came up under the same sick ideology that they came up under. We heard the same things, fed the same propaganda. But do you know what? Other people in the world has went through the same thing. The Palestinians not turning on each other. They've heard the same propaganda. See what they did in Africa, many of those leaders, they get a corrupt leader. And they allow those people to come there and do what they're doing as long as they can make some money. Many of those African leaders were millionaires and billionaires, paid by Western nations to allow them to come into their country and do whatever they want to do. Yeah, they actually paid them. And the leaders knew what they was doing and still know what they're doing. We always say, well, we wouldn't do to them what they did to us. We haven't had that kind of power. You see the black people in Africa and different places who do have power, you see the horrific things that they've done to people. Don't get it twisted. Anyone can be evil. Evil don't know a race. Now see, they're playing biological games while we're talking about brotherhood and equality. There's never going to be equality. You can never take two things that's opposite of each other and think they're going to be equal. You can't take if you got two cars, you bought both of them. You really like both of them. But there's going to be one you like better than the other. And you're going to treat it a little better. I know that's a rough example, but that's just to show you that two opposites can't be equal, especially when it comes to people. And when you're not the majority. But the problem with us, we can be the majority. And we still let them rule over us. Just look at all over Africa, South Africa. In South Africa, they still run the economy. They own most of the wealth. The black people just run it economically. I'm sorry, the white people run it economically. The black people just run it politically. So like in many black cities here, the black people run it politically. Other races of people run it economically, and no one else will allow that in their neighborhood but us, in their nations but us. Nowhere in the world does the minority run the majority except around black people. We're tough with each other, but soft on everyone else. These people are out to get you. This is Ebola, that's just the beginning. It's not over. It's not over. They'll come up with something else. I always suspected that of Ebola. I always said it. And now I know. I researched this and looked it up. I wouldn't put this up. I only put up stuff that I got facts on. Facts. If I don't have facts, I wouldn't put it up. They did. Because you remember when the white guy caught Ebola? All of a sudden, Ebola was over. Because a white person wasn't supposed to be able to catch it. And now, you don't hear anything anymore about Ebola, do you? They sent the cure over there. When the white guy got, oh, we think we may have a cure. They knew they had one. Ebola did not stop. They talking about that one video saying when after the Cuban doctors came, they helped. But Ebola almost stopped in its tracks when that white guy got it. And they sent the cure over there. Because it was no longer seen as a binary weapon just for black people. I say melanated, but you know I'm talking about black people. Because like I said, those others gotta have to fight for themselves. We're done with that Rainbow Coalition stuff. We tried it, it didn't work. And when something come against us, there's no Rainbow Coalition. But when it come against us, all of a sudden everyone wants a coalition. Right. Cuba was the only person who helped Africa. Poor nation. And the African nations don't help each other in times of crisis. They're so caught up in tribalism, nationality, and ethnicity, mostly tribalism, that they won't even help each other. You see, when one of their countries is invaded, they don't have a pact where they aid each other. They're looking for Europe to help them. And Europe is the cause of the problem. Anytime Europe is funneling both sides in the war, selling weapons to both sides. They started the war. And you still trust them. Now, maybe open your eyes and see that most of these people don't mean us any good. Most people in the earth. Don't you see this one on Ebola again?
Did you know Ebola literally dissolves your organs while you're still alive and conscious? The virus attacks blood vessel walls, causing massive internal bleeding throughout your entire body. Victims start vomiting black blood and bleeding from every opening. It begins with fever and headaches within 2 to 10 days of infection. Then your liver turns to liquid mush and your kidneys completely shut down. In the final stage, your face becomes mask-like as connective tissue dissolves. The 2014 West Africa outbreak killed over 11,000 people with a 50% death rate. The most terrifying part? Victims become walking biological weapons, spreading the virus through blood and saliva while slowly dying from internal hemorrhaging. Nature's most brutal killer attacks from within.
I had to put on my glasses. I can only see which video I was pushing. But yeah, they said that there's no known bacteria or virus that can cause your body to do that. That had to be done in the lab. Remember the zombie movies? It said just about making people a zombie, look like a zombie. How it was created in a lab. The one thing about these people, you know what they do? A lot of those movies they make are actually real life things. And they don't tell you don't know it. But they document everything that they do. Look at the Jeffrey Epstein's file. Who had time to sit around and type out his millions of pages? Most people don't do that in a lifetime. And that's all he did was fool around with little girls. Because I'm not thinking about the women. They did what they wanted to do. All he did, he fooled around with little girls and type. Who does that much typing? Then I said it's sure that they document just about everything that they do. All you have to do is find it. Oh, I know I say I'm not thinking about the women. A lot of these women chose what they wanted to do and just had second thoughts later. The guy in California that was running for governor of California, I just saw it. He's a senator. He was running for governor of California. He just announced that he's pulling from the race and he's resigning from the Senate. He's a Democrat. You see how the Republicans hold on? The Democrats give up so easy. The Republicans will say the hell with y'all. Keep on running and win. Republicans will. I don't know about now because they're in the hot seat. But see, if they can get a good racial cause going, those people start voting Republican again, though. But look, the reason I say about the women that the ones that accused him, see, he asked her to perform oral sex on him in the car. She started, then she felt uncomfortable with it. Well, she chose it. She had a choice. She chose to do it. And she just didn't finish the job. So how was that sexual assault or rape if somebody asks you, somebody asks you to have sex with them, then you stop midstream on your own and call that sexual assault? I wouldn't have quit nothing. Unless it's something else, a whole lot more stuff. I know I'm off subject, but I didn't talk enough about Ebola. But look, how does people make sex a sport, a favorite pastime? Don't they have other stuff to do? I mean, all the different people they had sex with. That's why I can't see how guys have 20 and 30 babies. I don't have time to see around that kind of sex. How you gonna be successful at anything except baby making? Who got time for that? It's sex all the time. Oh, but back to my subject, Ebola. I get off subject sometimes. Look, Ebola, it was not a natural occurrence. Many people say COVID wasn't. I don't know about COVID, but there's too much data to show that Ebola started in a biochemical lab. Biochemical weapons lab. Let me rephrase it. I showed it to you. Watch this again.
Did you know that in 2019, a CDC researcher accidentally punctured their containment suit while handling live Ebola virus at Fort Detrick? The breach happened inside USAMRIID, America's most classified bioweapons facility. What made it terrifying
bioweapons facility. And why would Ebola virus be in a bioweapons facility? And I checked that out, and it's true. They were making a bioweapon to kill, I'm not kill, but I scratched that, unalive. Hope you three don't sanction me for that. Unalive black people. But it just didn't work. Well, I'm not going to hold you long tonight. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This has been No More Water, Fire next time. See you next time.